Missing someone with all your missing someone
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm doing a little different video format today where I wanted to take you guys and kind of explain step by step of what I'm doing on my model. I'm doing a hair model today because I have some different techniques that I want to try out. So I'm just going to take you guys along with me, and I don't really have a full game plan, but I'm just going with the flow based off of what I feel right now and what her haircut that I gave her, what I think would best suit her, and what I'm kind of envisioning in my head. So I realized I really don't talk a lot about haircuts on my channel, so I kind of want to start talking about my thought process and what I think about when I give someone a haircut really quick. So she's got pretty decent amount of hair. It's like thick, and this is her natural hair texture, pretty much air dried. And so I want to maintain her length for today, just clean it up. I don't want to thin out her hair too much. We are adding some like curtainy bangs just so that it gives her some face frame. I find that hair is a bit longer, can sometimes weigh down the front of the face. So I like to add a little bit of face framing and curtain bang to kind of give it some shape and just bring back a little bit of volume there and make it not look too heavy around the face. So that's what I'm working on right now. And then I do like long layers later on, but I always like to do a rough cut before I do the color so that I make sure that I don't cut off my color at the end, because if I did the whole color and then did the haircut, sometimes like when I could like potentially cut off my tip outs that I do later. So that's why I always like to cut my client's hair first, like do a rough cut, and then I'll finish their haircut after the whole color is done. So right now I sectioned out her hair to kind of see where I want the bold lightness to be. So I already kind of sectioned that part out, and I started here and I did air touch on her hair because I want these pieces to be bold, but I didn't want it to be like such a quite harsh slice, so leaving out her baby hairs there. And I just did two because I don't know quite yet how thick I want her money piece to be. And then I'm following it up on the sides here, air touch, so it's not too bold of a slice like I normally do. But yeah, I'm gonna do that on the other side and then go from there, and I'll explain as I go. But she hasn't come to me for her hair in like, what, a year and a half, Dan? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And she has been my hair model so many different times in the past. And the reason why I'm doing a hair model today is because I just wanted to try something different and like gain some inspiration back. Because sometimes when you're doing hair behind the chair, I tend to lose inspiration because I feel like I'm doing the same thing all the time. So I wanted to try something a little different and see if I like it and if it works, and yeah. Okay, so really quick, I wanted to show you guys what I did in the back. So I finished all the whole front and everything, and I did like add a few tip outs. After that money piece section here, I started pivoting from the center and doing like a diagonal back, but leaving a little bit more space as I take the diagonal back. So it's kind of like slanted like in a triangle to where it's a little bit closer to the center point where she parts her hair, and gradually gets a little bit of a thicker section as I diagonal back towards there. And I did about like 3 of those. And then I sectioned or had it off to do more of like a rhombus type of section for the very top, and I wanted to save that for last. So after I did the front, I went ahead and went to the back. And in the back, I didn't want to focus and do too many flows because I want this to be a very dimensional blend. I wasn't looking for anything that was going to be too high impact. And so I started taking diagonal backs from the nape of her head, which is back here, and I basically just started to tease it. I did a few of those weaved and teased parts, like I think I did 2 there, And then I started to alternate cutting the diagonal backs and doing the center. So I did diagonal back, center, diagonal back, center. And I just kind of started alternating doing that all the way up to her occipital of the head. And when I did that, I didn't leave any negative space. I took those sections as a whole, teased the entire section, and by the entire section, I probably did about 1/2 inch of each, and teased, then weaved. And when I got to the occipital, that's when I started to do a little bit of a thicker section, and then I leave out a bit of negative space. So there's a little bit more hair in between because I want a little bit more depth in this area. And that depth is going to make this top part and the bottom part pop more, because when you have contrast in the hair, it makes those brighter pieces even blonder because it has something to have contrast against. Continue just doing the weave and tease. I'll show you guys in that other footage there how I did the weave and teases, but the center ones I just kind of painted down. But the diagonal back weave and tease, I like to over direct to the side of the head, and this is going to give that like gradual blend to where it's like lighter in the front towards the root and kind of scoops down here in the back. So now I'm going to go in and do the top part, which is the rhombus section of her head. And this part, I've seen a lot of videos online of people doing like slices here and showing that it looks so blended. So I've been wanting to try this technique for a while on somebody. And I love doing slices because I feel like slices, you get more impact and it's just a little bit quicker than doing like a weave. And so I'm basically just going to be doing slices from here on this end of her head all the way to the other side. And of course, I'm going to make sure that my slices are nice and see-through. Let's see how close apart I would like them. Because we did more high impact around the hairline, I think I want to make this top part a little bit more dimensional. So I'm going to go in and probably leave about 1/2 inch between these slices. And so I'm cutting long custom foils for this part with my creamer cutter. And I'm going to go in and make sure that my slices are nice and see-through like this. I always like to paint about a few inches below the top because I want room to blend and diffuse the lines when I lighten the hair. And then you can see on the ends of her hair, she has some highlights but also dark. So I want to carefully pick out those dark pieces so we don't overlap on it to any previous highlight. So we're going to pick those up, and I'm just, since it's so thin of a piece, like on the bottom where the dark ends are, I'm going to pull that up and just kind of lay it right on top of where we've already placed lightener. And I'm pretty much just going to continue this all the way till I reach the other side of her head. So this is what her hair lifted to. She lifted really well, which I was expecting because I've done her hair before and she hasn't done anything really to her hair as far as color. So all that regrowth is definitely virgin, so I was expecting a really clean, even lift. And since we did some teases, I am going through and just kind of trying to brush them out one by one, just like rinsing off the lightener on the ends and then just like gently brushing out those teases at the root. My trick is to not wet the tease too much, like still kind of like get rid of the bleach that's on the ends and then try to brush it out while the tease is still dry, because I find that wetting it sometimes can make it a little bit more tangly. And sometimes I'll add conditioner too to kind of help brush this process out, but I like to do it one by one just so it's extra gentle on the hair and we make sure that we're not pulling the client's hair at all. And then I will be toning with the new Danger Jones gloss toners that I've been talking about in some recent videos. I absolutely love the semi-permanent line because it's just very shiny. You can even see as I'm putting it on the hair, it's really easy to apply, blend, and brush through. I am using 3 different toner formulations. So for her root formula, I mixed up like a 5-0 with a 6-01. Her mid area is like an 801, and then the ends are like a 1001, which is like a the O is it 1 series is a natural ash, and so this is gonna just make it like more of like a ashy blonde type of look, because she lifted very well, and I find that doing ash tones on Asian hair just fades out a lot better so that it doesn't fade too brassy or anything like that.
Oh my gosh! I like it!
So I definitely had so much fun doing this technique. I was really intrigued by creating a look with slices that looked extremely blended, and I feel like this achieved it right on the dot. I feel like you can't even see any lines or anything like that. It looks so blended, so seamless, and I feel like it creates like such a beautiful like ombre effect on its own, even if I weren't using different levels and toners. I feel like the root is so dimensional, and then it kind of gradually gets lighter on the end so seamlessly. And there's definitely things that I would love to tweak about this placement, but that's the whole point of doing a model and taking them, is to kind of see what you would have done better next time. And honestly, I have tried this technique and variation of it on a few of my clients, and I absolutely love it. I feel like this is different from what I was teaching before with my signature technique, because this one preserves a lot of dimension and is really for your clients that want something that is going to look extra soft and dimensional.
Coffee done. Okay, open. Oh my gosh! Thank you! You're welcome. I love it.
Alrighty guys, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching if you have made it this far. I know this video format is totally different from any of my other videos, so please, if you can, take a moment to give me some feedback, because I really would love to hear your thoughts. If you guys enjoyed it, if you hated it, that's okay too. I would love to know what I could improve on and what would make this viewing experience a lot better for you guys and help you guys learn a little bit more. But other than that, that is it for this week's episode. And as always, guys, I will talk to you guys next week.